What's up, guys? So one of the best parts about living here in the Philippines, aside from the incredible lifestyle here, it's how easy it is to actually get out of the Philippines and go explore the rest of the region. You're only a few hours away from completely different worlds, and that is pretty awesome. I've been to Thailand, I've been to Vietnam, and of course I've been all over the Philippines, but there was one country that I've been waiting to visit for years, and I finally made it happen. What's up, guys? Look where I am. 2-week trip with my dad. It starts right now. So this trip ended up being, guys, like one of the best travel experiences I've ever had. And here's how it all went down. All right, I am hopping on this bus. Everything is so organized. I'm blown away by that right away. But I have to go meet my dad at Terminal 1. I'm at Terminal 2. All right, my dad just called. His battery's about to die, and he's worried I'm not gonna find him. And he's at some information desk. I don't know how I didn't see him coming out. I think I see him. Oh yeah, I see him. What's up? No worries. I don't know how you slipped past me.
No see, Chad.
English. There we go. Okay, purchase tickets. All right, guys, I'm not gonna lie. Japan's public transportation, even though it is known to be the most organized public transportation network probably in the world, but it's pretty crazy at the beginning, guys. There is a lot to figure out. But here's the thing. The Japanese staff are incredibly helpful. They will go out of their way to guide you. And once you get the hang of it all, it just starts to click and it makes traveling Japan an amazing experience. But yeah, the first few days, brief moments of chaos, you gotta be patient and roll with it. And then traveling around by train ends up becoming a big part of the trip, like a big part of the adventure, at least for me anyways. I loved it, especially taking the bullet train around, also known as the Shinkansen. It is so fast, so comfortable, and it's a great way to just kick back, look out the window, and enjoy the countryside as you travel from one point to another. Bullet train, baby. What's up, guys? We made it on the train. We're heading to Shinjuku, so that was kind of crazy. We went straight to Shinjuku. That was going to be our home base for 3 nights. We took the Narita Express, which was about a 90-minute ride. And then when we got there to the Shinjuku station, we had about a 15 to 20-minute walk to get to our hotel, which was amazing. I will never forget this walk, this first time to take in all the lights, the neon lights in Shinjuku, the energy of the city, the people everywhere, the sights, the sounds, the narrow alleyways with little restaurants, and all these little places are just like packed with people. And guys, the food is so good. There's so many things to try. Of course, you have to do the sushi, try some sake. Of course, the Kobe and Wagyu beef. It is a pricey dish, but so good.
Thank you. Hello.
Hi.
Yeah.
All right, this one here.
Oh,
Thank you.
very good.
Arigato.
Please drinking inside.
Oh, sure.
Thank you.
All right, let's try this. It was super busy, but it didn't have like a stressful feel. We didn't feel overwhelmed. We were just excited. The place felt alive. It was incredible. My dad kept looking around like, are we really here? Like, wow, we're in Japan. It was definitely a moment to remember for sure. So we stayed at the Hotel Gracery, which was pretty much right in the middle of everything in Shinjuku. So you can't beat the location. You walk out the door, you're in the middle of it all. Super nice hotel. Be aware though, guys, the hotel rooms around Japan are generally speaking quite a bit smaller than what you're used to. They're not cheap in Tokyo. And the toilets, well, that's an experience in itself. Guys, search on YouTube, Smart Toilet Japan. Your minds will be blown. Look how narrow this apartment building is. That is crazy. Wow, that is tiny little shoebox apartments right there. So we spent the next few days just diving into Tokyo. Now, just for a heads up, guys, if you're planning a trip like this, you could spend weeks, months, whatever in Tokyo. You cannot see it all in just a few days. We went to the very popular Shibuya crossing, which was super cool. Had to see it. We checked out the Shibuya sky, which was phenomenal, which gives you that full panoramic view of the entire city. It's so big. It's like it's endless in every direction. Skyscrapers everywhere. It's like a whole bunch of huge cities all in one. Definitely recommend going up to Shibuya Sky, guys, just to get a real sense of how massive Tokyo is. So after wandering the city for a few hours, we escaped into a massive green space called Shinjuku Goen National Garden. the largest garden in Tokyo. We spent hours there, taking it all in. It was absolutely phenomenal. Now that experience set the tone for the entire trip. One of the most striking themes that we found throughout Japan was the emphasis on gardens and green space, balance and harmony, tranquility. These words we kept bringing up as we were wandering around and traveling around Japan. We absolutely loved that part. But I have to make this point. Even in the busiest parts of the city, there seemed to be this peacefulness. It was kind of quiet considering how much was happening around us. Now, this probably stood out more for me coming from the Philippines, a country that does have more noise pollution. There's loud motorbikes, there's loud jeepneys, there's loud music. In Japan, it's the opposite. It is very quiet. If you ever visit, you'll notice right away that the Japanese people really value that quietness. In fact, being loud is considered a bit disruptive and kind of rude, actually. It's everywhere, though. You just see that sort of order to everything and that calmness to everything. Even the cars are just purring along. They're very quiet. When I was in Vietnam, there's very much a honking culture in Vietnam that I noticed, but these things don't exist in Japan. And I think for those of you that love that kind of stuff, you're really going to notice it. Everything was clean, organized. It just seemed thoughtfully designed. Everything was done with a clear sense of purpose behind it, how things were built and maintained. It was efficient, functional, and intentional. And I love that kind of stuff. Even something as simple as using a restroom at 7-Eleven was an experience, like from the cleanliness to the quality of the finishings and everything that I'm talking about, guys. This theme carried on through the entire trip, like everywhere we went, from the cities to the little towns and everything in between. So anyways, guys, after Tokyo, we were ready for a change of pace. We wanted something a little more historical and traditional, and we kind of had to do it. So when I was researching this trip, of course, Kyoto pops up. It's one of the most popular touristy cities in the world. And with that, there's good and there's bad. There's a reason why it's so popular. It's just a very unique city.
We are now entering Kyoto. What a pleasant day in Kyoto, guys. Check it out. This is going to be a fun few days.
It used to be the capital city of Japan, but it's more focused on history and culture. There's temples everywhere, beautiful streets with old wooden houses and small cafes. Everything was just so well preserved. But when you start to visit the famous temples and the gardens and you go to the popular spots, because it is so popular, guys, the crowds are there. And so you're sharing that experience with just so many people, and you have to wait in line for certain things or just kind of move with the crowd in certain areas. And you know what? For me, it's not my favorite thing. We still loved all of it, but we kind of preferred just wandering the back streets and trying different restaurants. We went to this little locals ramen restaurant like 5 times. It was so good and cheap. And we loved this little French wine bar playing old jazz, serving fried cheese, good bread, and some good French wine. We wrapped our time up in Kyoto with a stroll through the magnificent bamboo grove, the nearby nature park. We went to say hello to the geisha girls in Gion, and that was a wrap. We had an awesome time. It's hard to believe that this trip could get any better, but this second half of the trip is what stands out to both of us the most of our time in Japan. We took a beautiful train ride to Nakatsugawa, which is the gateway to the Nakasendo Trail. My dad and I always do some hiking when I visit in Canada, so we definitely wanted to make that part of our trip here to Japan. And this trail is so much more than just a beautiful hike. It's actually the main route that the samurai soldiers used to take when going between Tokyo and Kyoto, and they would stay in these old post towns along the way. And all of that is part of this hike that you go on. It ended up being a full day experience. Now, we did a stretch that took us through 2 old post towns, Mogami and Sumago. And honestly, it felt like we were walking through history. The towns were so well preserved with traditional buildings, and the trail that went between these post towns were beautiful forests and valleys. Every turn, there was just this beautiful view to look at. And one of the highlights of this trek that we went on was the fact that we got to see the cherry blossoms in full bloom. We got a little bit late in the season arriving in Japan, so down in Tokyo and the main lower elevation areas, it was already well past the bloom. But since we were up hiking in higher elevation, there was still some late bloom cherry blossom trees along the way, which was super cool. We were both hoping to see that, especially my dad. He was pretty psyched that we got to experience that. And right where the cherry blossoms trees were was a little rest area where they had free green tea to chill by the fire in a little historical hut along the trail. It was awesome. You could spend days hiking along this trail, but this very popular section is 7.7 kilometers. We still had a ways to go, but we got the break we needed and it was time to motor on. One beautiful scene after another, truly a trek to remember, and we made it to our destination, Sumago-juku. This last section of our trip blew us away. It was actually a last-minute add-on to the plans and itinerary of our trip, and it rounded the trip out perfectly as it was on our way back to Tokyo. It was some of the most unique and beautiful landscapes we saw the entire time. It is the breathtaking Izu Peninsula. So we barely saw any foreign tourists the entire time we were there. It seemed to be more like a locals getaway. We explored around for 2 full days, and to be honest, we could have explored for several more days to experience it all. It's such a big area with a diverse landscape, everything from narrow winding roads through Japanese cedar forests.
Now this is narrow. Oh wow.
I can't go any further. Oh, that's so close. This is sketchy. Rental car. There's several lush waterfalls. The one that we went to is really cool. It's also a popular trout fishing spot. The coastline, especially along the southern coast, just this massive, rugged volcanic coastline like this one that we went to, which is called the Jogasaki Coast. It's got incredible views from the suspension bridge. Or like what I did is you can hike and explore by foot and just get right to the edge of the cliff and look over for even better views with not many people. The towns scattered around the peninsula are quaint and friendly, and they're nestled right into the surrounding nature. And as always, we found our favorite spot for ramen. There was a place right where we were staying, a true mom and pop ramen shop, owned and operated by this nice couple for decades. But the highlight overall for our time here was hiking around Darumayama Mountain. It was unbelievable. The drive up was spectacular. It would have been incredible to have my ADV here. There's multiple trails. All of them lead to various views of one of the most iconic landmarks in the world, the majestic Mount Fuji.
Oh, baby. Look at that view of Mount Fuji. Holy cow.
To cap off our trip with these moments, hiking around, looking out at Mount Fuji on one of the highest peaks in the Izu Peninsula, with the wind blowing hard, no one else around, on such a clear, beautiful day, I'm telling you, it was just one of those special travel moments that will never be forgotten. It was time to return our rental car and head back to Tokyo for our last day before flying out. But the adventure wasn't over, guys. We had time to squeeze in a visit to Team Lab's Borderless, which I definitely recommend if you have some extra time. It's like stepping inside a trippy dream where art, light, and motion blend into an endless world. And that evening, we visited the Tokyo Tower, a really great spot worth checking out. And that was it. A trip to remember for my dad and I. 2 weeks packed with unique culture, food, nature, and so much more. No wonder Japan is considered one of the most impressive countries in the world. That's it for this one. Thank you for watching. As always, I appreciate it. Stay tuned. Many more adventures to come.